Hey everybody, my name is Mike Tomorrow, and I know I did a video back in around the beginning of September about predicting the rest of the hurricane season. I know that the season's now over. It's been over for like 2 weeks now, and storms can still develop in the month of December. I do not think any more storms will form in the month of December. I did predict that there would be 17 storms throughout until the end of the season, but they outsmarted me, the storms did, and got 19 instead. That's okay too, you know. I didn't think the last two names were going to be used anyways, but there is a possibility in the month of December that they can be used. So coming up this spring, they'll go over the list of names from this past season, and they'll decide which ones to retire or which ones to keep on for the next time they use the list in 2018. We know for sure that Isaac will not be on the list. We know for sure Sandy will not be on the list either. Those two storms are gone. They'll be taken off the list. I've also would recommend that the storms Debbie and maybe Ernesto will be retired too. But we don't know about those two. The only two that I know for sure that they would take off the list and retire them are Isaac and Sandy because of the amount of damage that they have done. Now, I'm going to predict a few names here. So, don't get me wrong here. I'm going to predict Ishmael will replace Isaac. And I would like to see Susan replace Sandy as the S letter storm on that list. Why did I come up with these names? First of all, Ishmael, whatever you want to say it. I don't know how to say it. Ishmael is not a name on the list already. And it's a character that's used in the Bible. And Ishmael is also the title character of Moby Dick. Like he says, call me Ishmael, you know? No. Susan now would be a perfect name to replace Sandy because Susan is not used. And Susan would be a perfect name. We have plenty of S names to choose from, but I predict that Susan will be the name. Either Susan or Sue would be on that list. I have a feeling it'll be Susan, because if they use Sue, then they'll be like, oh, you're going to sue me, or they're going to sue you, you know? Like that. So, I predict it'll be Susan. They can probably use Suzanne, but I do recommend Susan for that simple reason. And it's a popular S name in the country. I have an aunt that's named Sue, so, you know, I think Susan would be a perfect name to replace Sandy. Now, if they had to replace Debbie and Ernesto, then I don't know what names I would use. But probably for Ernesto, I don't know if they would use Ernie. That'd be a perfect name for them to use. Though Ernesto means Ernie in Spanish, or Ernest in Spanish. So I don't know what type of luck we would have with that. For Debbie, that's going to be a tough one. Because I don't know any D names that we could use. Well, I probably do. But, you know, it's kind of hard to try to figure out a name to use. You know, it was difficult for me to finding out which I storms have not been used. Because they're going to have to replace Isaac as it is. And there's not that many I names. you know? For guys' names, anyways. Guy names. Because you had Isaac in 2012, which will probably be retired. You have Isaiah for 2014. You have Ian for 2016. And then for girls' names, for the letter S, you already have Sally for 2014. And you have Sherry for 2016. So that's why I thought of Susan to replace Sandy and Ishmael to replace Isaac. Now, it might be a little difficult to replace Debbie and Ernesto if they make it onto the retired name list too. Because you already have Dolly, you already have Danielle for the D ones, E you have Edward, and you already have Earl. So, the names I would probably recommend, let me see here. The names, girls' names. Well, we could use Darby. They already used Darby in the Pacific. Why don't we have Darby for the Atlantic too? Or Dolores. You know? But anyways. The other names I was thinking about for guys' names, if it had to come down to it, I was thinking about Irv. I-R-V. Irv. Or Irvin. You know? That's another guy's name that starts with an I. I was thinking of that name too. But I don't know if they would have it. But you never know in this world what they'll have for names. You know? And then in the Pacific, they use Ivo. I-V-O. And I don't know what that means. And then they have I-G-N-A-C-L-O. I don't know how you pronounce that. No? And then they have Irwin. So, I don't know. I was leaning towards Ishmael, but if Irv is a better name, then I recommend Irv, you know? Just like I recommend Susan for the S name to replace Sandy. You know? But you know something else too with my prediction that I made? I was right on one thing. Michael was the most powerful storm in 2012. It beat out Sandy. It beat out a few other names. It beat out Gordon, I know that. It was the only Category 3 major hurricane of the season Michael was. And I predicted that one, so... Well, I predicted Michael would be the strongest storm. Too bad it didn't make landfall. I wanted that name to be retired. You know, my long name to be retired. That would be nice, but... Hey, that's okay. We can use Michael again in 2018, you know? So... This season was also the first time that Oscar was used, Patty was used, Raphael was used, Sandy and Tony were used. And obviously this is probably going to be the first and only time that Sandy will be used because, like I said, it's going to be retired. So, but you'll see Oscar again. You'll see Patty again. You'll probably most likely see Raphael again. No, that name could be retired too, but it didn't cause too much damage, so I don't think it will be. And I think you'll see Tony again on that list. So, you know. I do love hurricane season. I do love it when they use all the named storms. That'd be nice. Also, I love hurricane season because I like to track the hurricanes. And, you know, I hate hurricane season when the hurricanes come to Florida here or the United States, you know. I do hate that part. But I do love tracking the hurricanes, you know, whether or not they make landfall or not, you know. I do love following those storms. And, you know, the Weather Channel is now naming winter storms, you know. You know, Channel 3, WFSB in Hartford, they've been doing that long before the Weather Channel's been doing it. So, you know, they're not alone. You know, Channel 3 in Hartford, they name their winter storms all the time. So So the Weather Channel is not the first ones to name winter storms here, you know? So, but anyways, I look forward to doing another video in April, maybe around April, maybe around May, to predict how many storms we're actually going to get coming up in 2013. And then maybe I'll do another video around August again, or in September, whatever, and see how far I predicted and how the season's going, you know? I do love forecasting hurricanes, you know? I do love following them, and I do love tracking them. It's my life here. So, I'll talk to you guys all later. Have a Merry Christmas, have a Happy New Year, and I hope to see you guys in 2013. Feel free to watch my other videos too, called My Life with Asperger's. So, I'll talk to you guys all later.